Hello, Auburn Alliance Church family. Welcome to another 5 at 5. This is a new short era at 5 for 5 because Pastor Mark and Becky are away on vacation. So for the next 2 weeks, you have an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with PJ at 5 at 5. So I wanted to start out by showing you some of the cool things we did on our vacation while we were gone. We went down to Scaly Mountain, North Carolina, which is right on the North Carolina-Georgia border, to visit two of our kids. We visited Joshua and his wife, Cami, and we had a really good time visiting them. By the way, Scaly Mountain is right in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's also right next to the Smoky Mountain National Park. So you can tell from this picture that there is plenty of mountains everywhere to look when you're there in Scaly Mountain, and it is so beautiful. I just love mountains, and the Great Smoky Mountain National Park is one of my favorite places in the country. It is so beautiful. Well, both Josh and Cami worked at a place called Highlands Aerial Park, which is a ziplining park. And I've done a couple zip lines in the past, but this was an opportunity for me to go on some zip lines that were much higher and much longer than anything else that I had ever done before. So with a little bit of a technology glitch here, I'm going to give you an opportunity to meet Josh, and we're going to ask him some questions about what it's like for him to work at this aerial park.
Hey Dad, or Auburn Alliance Church, coming to you from Scaly Mountain, North Carolina.
So Josh, how long have you worked at Highlands?
So I've worked at Highlands Aerial Park, the zipline park, for a little over a year now. Yeah, it's been quite the adventure.
Yeah, so what's it like for you to take people on these ziplining tours?
It's kind of interesting because at the beginning of the tour, you kind of have to feel people out. You don't really know who they are or anything about them. You don't know them. But by the end of the tour, you're almost friends because we talk so much. We've gone through an experience together. I've led them through something that maybe scared them or they didn't know much about at the beginning, and now we've talked so much. We're, getting at least closer to being friends. It's fun to lead people through something that I love so much. Yeah.
You know, that's something I really noticed when we went on a ziplining tour with you. We had a lot of time to stand close together on a tree stand in between the zip lines. And during that time, you had a really good time to get to know the other people that you were there in a group. We had people in our group from Indiana, and we had people that were there in our group from Georgia. And it was really neat to meet some of those people. And you did a really good job of engaging them in conversations and finding out some of the things that were some of their likes and interests. It's really easy to see how much you love doing your job and you're really good at it. So what can people expect when they go on a ziplining tour?
I would say people can expect to experience kind of like a group activity, a team building something, a team building thing, where like at the beginning you might not know the other people on your tour, but by the end you've at least talked a little and you've gone through an experience together that in the end will mean something to you. Maybe it's just a fun experience to you, or maybe it's something that changed your life because you were terrified of heights and now you're feeling a bit more comfortable with it. But more realistically, what you can expect to experience is 8 zip lines ranging from around 100 feet long to 1,550 feet long, which is a quarter of a mile, or over a quarter mile. So you can also expect a zip line that's less than 10 feet off the ground to a zip line that's 210 feet off the ground. So, we have zip lines that are 50, 60 feet off the ground. We have zip lines that you can your toes almost touch the ground when you're zipping. And we have zip lines where you are over the tops of the trees and you can see states away. So we get asked a lot how high the highest platform is, because the highest cable in the middle is 210 feet off the ground, but the highest platform is actually less than 70 feet off the ground. So, yeah. So it was a lot of fun to take my family on the tour recently. It was something I was hoping to experience sooner, but I was really glad to be able to take them out and experience it. Because I get to do it all the time, but my family doesn't fully know what I get to do or how much fun my job is. So it was really nice. It was fun to share that experience with people that have been part of my life since I was born.
I think this is a good time for us to show some of the zip lines that are part of this tour. Let's start with a couple of the easy ones. You can see in that one, it wasn't very high or it wasn't very long, but it was still fun. It was pretty cool to be zip lining there through the woods like that. Here's a video of me doing the zip line and a video of Seth doing the zip line. There's a nice picture of me and my boys. There's Josh and Seth. They had strict COVID-19 social distancing guidelines, even though we were all close together. This is about as far apart as you could get when you were on a tree stand. Some of the tree stands were a little higher than others. This was the tallest one, and it was about 70 feet off the ground. Well, you know, when we told people that we were going to be heading to North Carolina for our vacation this summer, a lot of people thought it was going to be really hot where we were, but it was not. It was much cooler than it was here in Auburn while we were gone. And Josh, what is it about that area of Scaly Mountain that makes it not very hot, particularly in the summer?
Something a lot of people don't know is the park is actually located in a temperate rainforest, and there aren't very many of those. I think there are less than 10 in the world. And one of them, well, the only two in America are Washington State and the park located right across the road from where I'm at, in Highlands Aerial Park. So the temperate rainforest means a lot of things. And one of the things that it means is it rains a lot, like sometimes hundreds of inches a year. So on an average day, we can expect at least the threat of rain, and in the average week, we sometimes we have to cancel tours, like at least one day a week is pretty common. So
yeah, I think it rained every day that we were with you. But you know, you said you guys zip line whether it is raining or not, right? But what would you do if there was lightning in the sky?
The threat of lightning is pretty serious here because we're high up in the mountains, and there's not much other large metal equipment just hanging in the air. So,
well, there were two of the zip lines that really stood out for us. They were just absolutely amazing. They're so long. One of them was 1,500 feet long. Another one was 800 feet long, and both of those were about 200 feet off the ground. They were just amazing. So to demonstrate that for you, here, why don't you come and zip line with us together? This one was called the Screaming Mare.
You're good to go.
Here we go. Here's some pretty cool drone footage of what it's like to be on these zip lines. I know already some of you are already saying in your mind, man, I wish I could go. I wish I could be part of that. And others of you are saying, ain't me. You wouldn't get me up on those zip lines at all. So it was a really fun experience. I really highly recommend it to anybody to be interested in checking it out. Scaly Mountain, North Carolina, right on the border between North Carolina and Georgia in the Blue Ridge Mountains. You ever find yourself there? Go check out Josh and Cami at the Highlands Area Park.
Yeah. Come out and see us sometime and let me know where you're from. I think you'll have a good time. Okay.